Hello, hello. Welcome to Psychic Talk. I'm your host, Priscilla Gendron, and welcome to another episode. And we have our amazing special guest. She's back. It's the amazing Jennifer Alden, all the way from New York in the USA. And it's such an amazing time. She's been away because she hasn't been well, but she's back and she's fighting fit and she's ready to take on another interview by me and to discuss more about how to live a much more heart-centered life. You know, we've been going through so much in our lives, and it's like, okay, what can we do? What ways can we do, and how can we use things like backflower remedies and other things in our lives to live a much more heart-centered life? So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back here again and to talk with you.
It's so good to have you back, and better than ever. So it's good to know that you're on the road to recovery again. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
How's the last couple of months been? It must have been quite traumatic the last couple of months.
Well, yeah, when you go through a direct illness diagnosis, it really can get dramatic and it can get frustrating and it can get all kinds of emotions and some lack of confidence. Can I go to the hospital again? Can I get more treatment? In my case, they're talking about a cancer diagnosis, and dealing with those kinds of things, dealing with the hospital insurance and all those kind of things kind of inform your life in a way that you have to pay attention.
Exactly.
And in the last couple of months, when I haven't been talking like this, it was really a lesson in paying attention to details, paying attention to what doctors were telling me, paying attention to insurance, not taking people or things for granted at all. And it sort of goes with the topic we're talking about today. And how can I go through this illness experience and still be connected to my heart?
Yes.
Still be connected to love, still see myself in love when I'm going through physical changes, when I'm having to flow through side effects of medicines, or taking time out from the medicines and having my whole energy fields adapt to that. How can I still look around in the world and appreciate myself, appreciate the health that I do have, which is quite a lot actually, and appreciate where that I'm going, and even just think about, oh geez, I do have a future. I can think ahead. I can plan ahead. I can do things with other people like we're doing today. I can write, I can speak, I can talk, I can, do consultations. I can do all these things in my life, even though I have this other story that I have to be mindful of and live, and
Yeah.
the Bachflower remedies themselves have been really specific and helpful to me, of course, in this area, because they're my companion remedies, and they're my first core therapy that I do. So when I need, I turn to Bach flowers first, and then I turn to everything else. And the beauty of what Dr. Bach created in this whole system of natural medicine is that you can do that. You have the amazing amount of freedom to add what you need. So adding the chemical therapy that I'm going through in my cancer treatment, adding homeopathy, adding Reiki, adding, of course, nutrition, adding physical therapy, adding any kind of energy medicine, they all work in harmony with each other. And I've noticed that the remedies, because they are helping my mental emotional state of mind, and that's my inner vibrational tone and my inner way of seeing the world and my outer way of relating to people, when that goes back to my personal balance through the remedies, everything else gets better. They're very supportive of anything else that you're doing, which I think is really quite amazing, actually, and probably why they're still around, more than 90 years, because the beauty of them is that you can use them from where you are. And then as you go back to your personal balance with the individual remedies, then you move forward. And either you take another remedy because something has been revealed, or you stop for a while, you go back to them later because something else has come up in your life. So it's a system that's very much connected to people's lives and where they are. So that's why you can use them on a daily basis. You can use them on a monthly basis. You can use them long-term or short-term. They fit and they code to where each person is, which I think gives people a lot of freedom of choice.
Exactly. And I feel like also
important.
They have like a knock-on effect. So it's kind of like you take it for one thing, but it also helps you with other things that are underlying or that you have issues with. So do the remedies then are able to do that while you, say, for example, healing one specific thing? It has a knock-on effect to heal other things as well.
Yeah, it does, because as you go back to balance, there could be something underneath that. So I was taking crabapple because of my need to feel better about myself, about my body image, about how my body was feeling going through treatment, about procedures and stuff in the hospital, which I don't find fun. I don't find tests fun. I don't find giving blood fun. To me, I have to really put an effort out to do it, because it's the way that I'm sensitive, and it's the way that I perceive vital force and living energy. So I find this all kind of an ordeal. And but when I was taking the crabapple, I started look at myself, think, oh, you really are beautiful today. Oh yeah, I know that looks really weird, and I've had all these surgeries and my body looks that way, but it's me, and it helped me to feel more appreciative about where I have come from, and what I've survived, really, and what I've done and how I've been able to help myself. So it really like uplifted my attitude towards myself. But underneath that got revealed, oh, I really don't like this, but let's see why I don't like it. Okay, it revealed mimulus for known fear. Fears you can name. So, am I going to get sick again? Is the test going to show? Is the test going to show something more? I always get nervous before test results, and I'm not a great waiter in test results. I get very impatient, and I get like, oh my God, what's it going to show? Am I going to have to go back doing this? And my mind starts thinking about the possibilities of the what ifs, And so I started taking mimulus, because it would unplug me from the fears that I have and give me the courage I need to complete the rest of the treatment and the story and the things that I need to do. So that's the support. That's the building another foundation of courage, and again, alertness, and or if the treatments are making me really, really tired, which they do, I might take some clematis for being really spacey, to make my mind be more present and hold my mind in a more focused reality, to bring more focus back on what I'm doing in my life and my daily life. So you can, as you say, they can reveal something else.
Yes.
Which is the beauty of the system. So, and as I take the mimulus and my courage comes back to the things that make me afraid, then maybe something else might be revealed. At times I've taken larch for confidence, speaking my truth and talking to doctors and talking to different teams and communicating with my family and, just needing more confidence. And the other remedy that I've reached for the most is walnut, which is, I think, one of my personal remedies, not my personality remedy, but my personal remedy, because it protects you from outside influences. It keeps you on your path. And so for those of us that are very sensitive to environment and sensitive to energy, it's a wonderful remedy. It's such a fine support,
Yeah, because you've
to
got to
use
focus
that.
on your path and not be distracted by anything else. So that
Exactly.
helps you to focus on what
Because
you for your own healing.
yes, exactly. And because in these medical situations, you can meet people that have a strong opinion or have a stronger energy. And if you're not feeling up to your own energy, you can be influenced by them, you know? And there are times that I have met people that this happened to, and I've seen it myself, and it's happened to me, that people try to take your spirit away. They try to overshadow you, in the hospital or in some caregiving situations.
Mm,
And walnut is a really wonderful protection from that, because no one has a right to take your spirit away, no matter what health issues you're going through or personality issues or family things or whatever. No one has a right to take your spirit away. No one. But they do try. There are people that I met that have tried, and I've seen it done. And it's just how people perceive what's around them. Um, but it's still not fair, and it's still not the right energy relationship to have with a patient, I think. And but walnut has been really, really helpful to help me speak my truth, help me communicate, help me, just see where I am and be protected from other people's overshadowing me, if that makes sense.
yes. No, it definitely does. And I think it's so important for us when we are going through a healing process or, a life change or whatever it is that has altered our path and our trajectory of where we're actually going in the world. I think it's just so important that we have the right tools available to us.
Yes. And these are a wonderful tool because, again, you can take it at any age. You can use it with children and teenagers. And it isn't that you have to go through an illness or anything. You can use them for daily life things, hearing sad news, going through grief for whatever reason. Even just saying, oh, I saw that exercise program. I'd really like to try that, but I've never done that before. So the remedies can give you the confidence, the attention, give you an emotional and mental support so you can make a life change. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be like, learning an exercise program, doing nutrition, starting a meditation program. If you're trying to meditate and you're just starting out, let's say if you just sort of you get really dreamy or thoughts like move here and move there and you just can't get focused, and you
Exactly.
can't feel your breath, and you're saying, oh, this really doesn't work. You could put a drop of clematis on your finger and put it on your third eye to help your mind be very clear and focused. Or if your thoughts are jumping here, jumping there, jumping here, you're being that monkey squirrel mind that we all get,
Yes.
and you can put a drop of white chestnut on your finger and just put it on your third eye, and take the remedies to support your mental health and support your mental attention and support what you need, So the system is 38 remedies plus the rescue remedy, but it's very simple to put in your daily life, It's a
Yes.
very it's a user-friendly system to put in your daily life.
And I think that's important for you to realize that it's not something that is technical. It's quite easy to use.
It is. And you basically look at yourself, you see what's going on, you see how you're feeling out of sorts with the world, or yourself, and you pick a chosen remedy that matches the conditions, the causes, the situation that you're in. And it's very well documented. So if you go on the Box Center, and this case center is spelled CENTRE, they have a whole guide to using the remedies. Nelson's the company that makes it on the website, has a guide to using the remedies. It's very clear that when you match a remedy to what you're going through, the remedy helps you go back to personal balance, and then the rest of you is allowed to heal. And it's a very gentle system. So again, you can take it, you can give it to young children, you can give it to newborns. I'm a box certified practitioner for animals. You can give it to animals and help them in their emotional needs and their mental states of mind. For your animal friends and family, you can definitely use it for them, both domestic and working animals. So it's very clear, it's very straightforward. It might take a bit of time to kind of look at yourself and go, geez, what's going on? But other times it's really not. I've discovered that most people really do know who they are,
Yes.
And they do know, they'll give you, at least when you talk to them, they'll give you a list of issues, and it's usually more than 3. I have never met anybody that just says, oh, I just feel afraid, that's it. Nothing else, nothing going on. I rarely met someone that just gives me 1. They might give me 1 and 2, they might give me 10,
Yes.
they might give me all kinds of things, depending upon their lifestyle and their situations and everything else. But it's pretty straightforward in that regard. And then you take the remedy for as long as you need it. If you make your personal mixing bottle, that lasts about a month, depending on how much you use it, and you use it 4 times a day or more. When I'm traveling or I'm doing something very different or unusual, I might take remedies more than 4 times a day. I've definitely done that.
So when you have your little mixing bowl, you can mix different remedies together.
Yes, you can. You can, for a person, you mix 1 to 7. And for an animal, I was taught you mix 1 to 4. But what I've discovered over the years is that I'm mixing 1 to 5 remedies or 1 to 4. And myself, because I've used them for so long, I may take only 2 remedies in my personal mixing bottle, because that's what I know that I need for the moment. So
sometimes less is more, in a sense.
I'm discovering over the years that less is more, and it's also easier to track, and it's also easier to see your transformations when you use less. But if you need 7, take 7, because some will be a core remedy that you're working on, like say what I was working on, mimulus for known fear. But some might be a side remedy, like I might need elm for a while for overwhelm. But that's not my real core way that I am in the world. It's just coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
Or I might need larch for confidence. It might not need my core remedy that I'm always feeling lack of confidence and I can't make a decision, or I don't know how to speak, or I get really shy because I don't think I could do anything. It may just be for a moment, for a week or for a day, or, something happens and, my computer doesn't work and and I lose my data, that could make me rather upset. So I might need larch for confidence to get that, to restore that back, or I might need willow for resentment against the computer. It's not my daily worldly outlook. It's just something I need to put me back to balance when I'm out of sorts.
And I think that's important for a lot of people at the moment, because, the whole planet went crazy a couple of years ago. And I think we are still reeling from the after effects of that as well. So, as we were talking about having like a heart-centered journey, it's like taking what we have and living a much more holistic life.
Yes. And this is why the Bach flowers are so wonderful, is because they can fit into any part of living a holistic life. Whether you're starting fresh and you're just looking around the world and seeing that, or you've been doing it as I have for decades, they still can fit in your lifestyle and your family's lifestyle.
Exactly. And that's what's important as well, is that, we have the ones that are good for us, because you can't take all of them. It's like, a bit overkill.
Actually, Dr. Bach did actually try that. He put all of them together and he said, no, it doesn't work. You really do need to take them in singly or in combinations for what you need, for when you need it,
Exactly.
That's something that he did discover himself, which is wonderful, I think. And So the beauty of this, and I think the joy of why I'm still doing this, because I've been doing this for decades, but why stay with something? Why, this is my 40th year using these as both a consumer and as a teacher. And I'm like, why stay with this? Why did it stick with me so much?
Yes.
Because it makes sense. It's a very sensible way to create a system that uplifts and unplugs you from stress and nervous tension. It's very gentle. It can work right away. Rescue remedy combination that Dr. Bach put together has those 5 flowers have a wonderful relationship together and a wonderful synergy to move you from deep fears and deep tensions and emergencies and strain. I adore the Rescue Remedy cream, and I use that full body almost every day because it's a wonderful massage cream and it's slightly moisturizing, but it helps release the tension from my body, and it helps with some of the pain management that I still have to do.
What I have also noticed is that there's a lot of people, and especially men today, that are suffering with a lot of mental health issues. So what kind of processes or remedies would you suggest for renewed mental health? Because I know it can be different reasons why mental health is there, but I think maybe it could be to do with I can't save my family, or life is getting hard, or not good enough. So it's self-esteem, self-worth.
There's a lot of remedies you can take, and again, you look at yourself first.
Yeah.
And you pick what is closest to what you're going through, and you take that chosen remedy for as long as you need it. So again, it matches the individual's direct situation. So there isn't a group of remedies you take, but you look at it as if, what do I need for me? What do I need for my family? What do I need because I'm the pressure of finances, which is a really difficult strain. And people are feeling that. It's a really deep tension that people have, and those tensions can open the door to physical illnesses as our emotions affect our health. And so you do need to address these things. You do need to address the tension and the suffering that goes through. But each person will find their own. See, that's the point. This is a system that isn't like you take these 6 and you're better, thank you very much. You need to do a little bit of self-looking. And for some tensions and pressures that we go through, it's pretty easy to see. People do know when they get so scared and they move into terror, especially over financial situations or putting food on the table for your family, or your child, hopefully never is sick, all those kinds of things. Or even the magic of life where you're going to have a child, and the changes that go in the whole family, both the husband and the wife, and if they have other children or other animals or whatever, the changes that go through that story, both the woman, how she's going through it, and the husband, how he's going through it. The remedies can be essential for post-traumatic stress syndrome, for going throughout the whole pregnancy, for afterwards, for the child. A friend of mine took her whole remedy kit in the delivery room, and she had her husband feed her the remedies that she needed at the time going through her delivery. And when her son came out, he was given immediately rescue remedy, because she said inside is not the same as outside, and there'll be strain, there'll be tension, there'll be changes, and she used the remedy in raising her children. They both did. They both used all of the remedies in raising their children, because there were things that the children needed, and this addressed it. So again, you can fit this system into anything that you're doing, but I would encourage people to look at it. I would encourage people to include it in their daily self-care. I would, anything from having a child to even getting married. People go through strain and stress of decision making. Is this right? Is this expensive? Is this this? Is this that? What kind of dress am I going to wear? What is the room going to look like? They go through a lot of pressure and tension for making choices. And the remedies can be very, very helpful in moving and supporting you in making your personal choices. Something that's supposed to be this glorious, happy situation sometimes turns into a lot of tension.
Exactly. And I know before we went live, you were talking about having your soapbox about holistic versus in what you call it, industrialized medication.
Yeah.
Would you like to maybe just touch on that again? I just found that quite fascinating because it is, people are either completely OCD about holistic side of things and won't touch industrialized medication, and then there are people that will go just for that and won't touch the holistic stuff. But you've managed to merge the two in a sense.
Yeah, I have. And it was a surprising process for me to have to do it, because when I did go to the hospital and have my initial surgery and they found the cancer, and it was all industrialized chemical medicine, regular hospital, wonderful doctors, amazing surgeon, amazing team of people that I met. But I'd spent the last 30 years of my life really doing holistic and taking holistic different medicines, learning different kinds of things, traveling the world, talking to different people, getting more informed. And I was not doing any of these other things at all. So I was carrying a prejudice. I have to freely admit it. I had a prejudice against chemical medicine and all these other kind of, chemotherapy and radiation, all these kind of things. I was carrying a medical prejudice, but I was placed in a situation where I had to take all these drugs, and I really had no choice. If I didn't really do it, I would have died. That's really the truth of it. And I understood that, so I did it. But it was a real stretch for me to embrace this. And then as I started to embrace it, because that's what I had to do, it shifted and expanded my understanding of how you work with these different options that we have, how you work with chemical industrialized medicine, and then work with all these amazing holistic medicines that we have. And what I do now is what I do in my holistic daily work is that what I do supports that other medicine, and what I do supports the treatments that I had from the hospital. So they work together to support each other. So I get the best of both worlds. I think that some of the medical systems that we have are brilliant, like doing breast treatment, doing imaging. There's a new imaging machine out that uses sound to make a 3D picture. So there's no compression and there's no radiation. Now, who brilliant people invented that? Thank you very much. So we need more things like that in both camps, basically. Camps is really not the right word, but you get the idea, in both ways of being and ways of structure. And I always been taught that you put all of the best together for everybody's healthcare. So, but it was a shock to me that I realized how much prejudice I was carrying, that I didn't think I was, and that I had to actually release, to do the other, to learn to talk to the doctors, to learn to manage my care, because I see things holistically, as everything is connected. Our whole systems are all connected to each other. That's my training and that's my background. And that's kind of my personality too, to see things very much connected and everything talks to each other and there's a lot of communication. So I'm very much interested in communication and holistic communication. But a lot of the people that I met in this journey were not introduced to those ideas. And so I kept having to introduce these ideas within the structure that I was going through. And that was also a large training for me, to be able to figure out ways of translating what I understood to what they understood and what they were presenting to me, and to make my healthcare choices within the system that I'm in. And it's still a process. I'm still learning to talk to people properly. I'm still learning to understand their points of view and to respect their points of view. It gave me a really different vital experience of respect, if that makes any sense. I learned to, not that I don't respect people, but I learned to see things a little bit differently. And it's really been an amazing education, not always comfortable at all for me, but it's been an amazing, amazing education that I don't think I would have gotten any other way. Not that I want this, but I'm living through the experience as the best that I can and learning from the experience in the different levels that I'm experiencing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Or trying to.
It definitely does. And it's hard when you're wanting to follow a specific path, and your heart is in it, and you kind of think, well, I need to stay, stand my ground and stick to it. But then something comes along and you think, oh, okay, hang on. As you're saying, you had your prejudice, and I'm like, okay, I need to deviate, and maybe I need to take a step back from things and try something different. And sometimes it works for some people and sometimes it doesn't work for other people, or sometimes other people will stay and stand their ground and work through whatever it is that they need to work through. It's all a personal journey.
For sure. And there's no right or wrong or here or there about it. I had a little bit of prejudice holding, oh, that's wrong to do. But I discovered, no, that was just an energy prejudice that that I was carrying for things that I've seen or experienced. And I had to really let go of it, because there's so much we can learn from each other, and there's so many different techniques like the machine I just mentioned, and there's going to be more things down the road that people are going to invent that are going to be very helpful, that will support holistic treatments, and holistic treatments will support what other types of medicine is happening out there. I think people just need to talk to each other. I think it's really about communication, and really honor each other's ways of doing something, but everybody's health journey, I'm really discovering, we're all human beings. We all live on the planet. That's true. But we all have slightly different ways and our different energies that we have that needs to be honored, respected, included, and addressed. So I discovered that through this experience, I'm able to include or talk about other things because I had to learn about it in order to make medical decisions for myself. So I have a whole nother vocabulary that I didn't really have too much before. I had a little bit of it as a caregiver when I've been doing caregivers for people, being a caregiver for people, but in hospital work as a caregiver, but I didn't have it specifically for myself. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have a whole nother vocabulary that I can understand or try to understand, but it takes time and it takes patience, and it takes patience with yourself as well. Which again is another use of the remedies. So if you're finding yourself being impatient with your situation in life, you don't like where you are, you want to move forward, but you're feeling like the stuff's just not working, I'm trying to learn this new thing, or I'm trying to go to this class, or I'm thinking about moving to another city or a country, the tension that brings and the awareness of where you are that brings to you, there are specific remedies to help you move through and make the truer decisions that you need to do for yourself.
Definitely. And so what kind of remedy would you use for something like that?
What I would do, and this is just for me, I'm going to self-reference, because again, the remedies work for each person, so you have to find your own for you for that situation. Yes. But say I want to move to another city, and I'm getting a new job. I might stay with the mimulus for known fear, because it's an unknown, and I don't know what I'm stepping into. I don't know the people that I'm going to be working with. I might start with some elm for overwhelm, or I might, use the walnut, as I've mentioned. I seem to be mentioning the same remedies, but I guess that's me. It's my patterns.
Well, go with what works for you.
Or gentian, feeling like, things are not going in my life. I'm not moving forward. I'm feeling really disappointed and really sad. When you start a project and it just isn't working, and you're finding yourself in setbacks. When you find yourself in setbacks, that can cascade into sadness. Sadness can cascade into depression. It can cascade into different fears. It can cascade into lack of self-esteem. But gentian, the Bach Flower remedy gentian, can help you to find your purpose. It can help unplug you from the disappointment and the beginning of sad. Because a lot of times people know who they are, and they know, oh yeah, that happened to me, and I got mad, but I wasn't able to let go of the mad. And so it turned into being resentful of everybody. So now I think I'm resentful of everybody. But they kind of can remember a thing that happened that started it out. And Dr. Bach is very clear in his writings on how the remedies work and how we work, that you don't have to hold on to the past trauma. Exactly. So the Bach flower remedies are really wonderful in working on and releasing and giving us back to balance from different levels of trauma. And sometimes it starts small. So if you have the remedies at home, what I do is, if I got out of sorts for whatever reason, I'll take a chosen remedy and then I'll take it right away. And so hopefully the pattern of being out of sorts will not have a chance to take hold in my energy fields or to grow and turn into something else. So my sad won't move to depression, or my, oh, I really don't like that, that's really disgusting attitude. Yes. I can take willow, and then it'll take care of that, and then it won't move to a pattern of seeing the world as resentment on a regular basis. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
So that's why we can integrate these in our self-care programs, whatever stage of life we're in, no matter what age.
And I think it's important because we're going through a lot of changes in life and in the world and globally. Oh, yes. So I think it's important for us to have things and remedies that are natural, that we can use to help us cope with all the stresses and strains of the world today.
Yeah, for me, they're essential.
Yeah,
they really are essential.
Like your essential toolkit, your emergency.
Yeah, they're my core essential toolkit, and then I used a lot of other things, of course. And but they're really the first thing that I go for. Yes. They really are. When I wake up in the morning, I'll have my breakfast with a cup of tea, and I'll think, do I need a remedy? Is there something going on that I need to look at? Or, oh, I need a little more energy, or, oh yeah, I want to do this project today. Is there something that I need to support me in my day? And I'll put the chosen remedies in my tea, and I'll have my remedy tea in the morning.
Exactly.
So
well, on the tea note, whenever the two of us get together, we can chat until the cows come home.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
So I just wanted to say thank you very much for joining me again, and it's so wonderful to have you back. And I know that it is a path that you're on, and we are so glad that we can share the joys with you when there are joys to share. So
for sure.
I do thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, because I've never met somebody who is so passionate about something. There's people that are passionate about things, but you are definitely, you live in your passion. And I think that in itself is something for people to take away, is that when you live your passion,
Wow.
everything else just falls away.
One hopes. Yeah. One really hopes. But I love them. And I love the Bach flowers. And I've just seen time and time again how they've helped other people, and how, of course, they've helped myself and helped my animals. And, I hope that people will take a second and a third look in whatever country that they're in, and look them up. Go online to the Bach Center, go to Nelson's, the manufacturer, and just look and see if they're an energy fit for them. And because they do support the things we need supporting. We need our mental and emotional health supported. We really do. Any phase of our lives, no matter what we're doing. And that really, I'm know that people are starting to recognize that, and they're starting to recognize the power of their emotions and how their mental state of mind actually creates their health picture. So when you're doing whatever form of self-care that you do, please remember to acknowledge and respect and include your mental and emotional state of mind in whatever healthcare plan that you're doing. And the Bach flower remedies are there to support you. That's what Dr. Bach designed them for. And you can do them for yourself. You can find a practitioner like me. We're all over the world. They're really easy to find and contact through the Bach Center. It's a wonderful thing to bring into your life. And it really works.
It's amazing.
And it's gentle.
So thank you. So on that note, it really works.
Okay.
I want to just thank you, Jennifer, so much for joining me today on Psychic Talk. It's always just such a pleasure and an honor, and an educational enlightenment, because you always have such wonderful knowledge and pearls of wisdom to impart on others. So thank you very much for
you're very welcome.
and energy. And we look forward to chatting with you again soon, I'm sure. So
lovely. That would be great. Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla.
So I just want to thank everybody for joining me, and join me again, same time, same place next time. And thank you, Jennifer, for a wonderful chat. And I look forward to seeing everybody on the flip side. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.